Good morning, my dear students. In the last class, we have derived the expression for the magnetic field at any point on the axial line and equatorial line of a dipole. Today, we are going to derive the expression for the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole. Isn't it? Now, that point, it is anywhere around the dipole. Isn't it? Now, if we derive this formula of the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole, by using that general formula, you can find what is the magnetic field either on the axial line or equatorial line of a dipole. Then these two, isn't it? That is, the field along the axial line and equatorial line will become as the special cases for this, what it is the general formula. Now, let us derive this formula, that is the field at any point due to a dipole. Now, during the derivation of this formula, whatever the important points will come across, let us try to understand those points, so that if you are well familiar about these, what it is the points, then the derivation will become easy for you, isn't it? Now, yes, already we have discussed that in the earlier classes, even in the lower classes also. If you are having the any vector, that vector, it is resolved into two components which are perpendicular to each other. Now, those, what it is the components are also be known as what it is the rectangular components of a vector. Isn't it? This is what you have studied in physics as well as in mathematics in your lower classes. Now, let us, what it is the consider velocity, it is a vector. Now, this vector, it is resolved into two components. Now, suppose if this vector makes an angle theta with this axis, then this is its, what it is the x component, that is the horizontal component, and this is the vertical component. Now, what is the horizontal component? Horizontal component value is v cos theta and vertical component is v sin theta. Now, here, this, what it is the, these two are the rectangular components of this vector which are perpendicular to each other, isn't it? Now, let us still, isn't it, for our understanding, let us take an example. Is it here? Now, let us see, consider force. It is a vector. This is of 5 newtons. Now, this force, isn't it, of 5 newtons, when it is resolved into two components, then let us see what are the rectangular components of this, what it is the vector. Now, this is a 3 and this is what it is the 4 newtons. Isn't it? Then here, how means, let us, this is O and this is the point P and this is the point, what it is the M. Now, from this rectangle triangle, is it right? OPM, isn't it? Here, OP square, it is equal to, what you get it here, OP square is equal to OM square plus MP square. Now, this is equal to OM square, OM value is how much it is, a 3, is it right? The 3 square plus, now this MP, it is equal to what it is, this much, 4, that is 4 square. This is equal to, this is 9 plus what it is, the 4 square is 16. Now, totally it is what it is, the 25. OP square, it is equal to 25. Therefore, OP, it is equal to square root of this, it is equal to 5 newtons. Means, if what it is the 3 and 4 are the rectangular components which are perpendicular to each other, then the resultant of these two, it is equal to how much it is, the 5. Isn't it? That means, here, if phi is a vector, that vector, it is resolved into two components. One component, that is the horizontal component, is 3 and vertical component is 4. Isn't it? Therefore, this is a way, means ultimately I want to make it clear that if you are having any vector, that vector, it is resolved into two, what it is the components which are perpendicular to each other, then those components are known as the rectangular components. Example I have given that if velocity it is the vector, then its what it is the horizontal component is what it is the v cos theta, another is what it is the v sin theta, isn't it? Now with the help of what it is the this example, then one more point I want to make it clear for you, that in the last class we have derived the formula of what means the field at any point on the axial line of a what it is the dipole. Now that formula is a BA, it is equal to, then what is the formula? Then mu naught divided by 4 pi, is it m divided by, is it a d cube, is it sorry, this is a 2m divided by d cube. This is the formula of the field at any point on the axial line of a dipole. That is, suppose this is a magnet or bar magnet, which is a dipole, then this is called as the axial line, isn't it? Which is called as the axial line. If I recall the point, the line passing through the poles and the center of the magnet, it is called as the what it is the axial line. Now when you consider any point P on the axial line which is at a distance of d, then the field at this point due to this dipole, it is equal to this much. Now here in this, let us try to understand each and every factor. Then this is a constant, and m is what? It is a magnetic moment, isn't it, of the magnet. And d is what? D is the distance of the point from the center of the magnet. Distance of the point from the center of the magnet, isn't it? Now this is the field along the axial line. Next, equatorial line. Suppose this is a magnet, bar magnet, which is a dipole. This is the magnetic center, which is called as the equatorial line. The line passing through the center perpendicular to the axial line. This is axial line, isn't it? And this is a line passing through the center and perpendicular to this axial line. Then this called as the equatorial line. Now when you take any point on the equatorial line which is at a distance of d from the what it is the center, then field at any point on the equatorial line, that formula is BE, means field along the equatorial line, it is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d cube, isn't it? M divided by d cube. What is this m? M is the magnetic moment of the magnet, isn't it? And d is what? It is the distance of the point from the center of the magnet, isn't it? Now here, and even we have what it is the derived the relation between the field along the axial line and the equatorial line, isn't it? Now in the axial line it is 2m by d cube, whereas in the equatorial line it is only m divided by d cube only, isn't it? Now this you can write this as what a 2 when you take it, then this will become as the field along the equatorial line. Then we have proved that field along the axial line is 2 times the field along the equatorial line, isn't it? Now here only the point I want to make it clear for all of you is that then field along the axial line, at any point on the axial line of a dipole is the formula this one, and this is a constant. This is 2. M is what? It is the magnetic moment of the magnet, isn't it? Whatever the value of the magnetic moment is there, that you have to put it. And d is what? It is the distance of the point, from the center of the magnet, isn't it? Next, field along the equatorial line, isn't it? Then it is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by what it is the d cube. Then here you are having the 2m, and whereas here only m, isn't it? Where m is what? It is the magnetic moment, and d is the distance of the point from the center of the magnet. Now see, these are the some of the important points what will come across in the derivation of this. Now let us what it is the, with the help of these two what it is the informations, let us derive the expression for the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole, isn't it? Now, here, all of you, what it is, be careful. Now, let us consider this is a dipole, that is a bar magnet, isn't it? We have taken any point, isn't it? This is a point, anywhere. You are observing that this point, isn't it? This point, neither it is on the axial line nor on the equatorial line. Anywhere it is, isn't it? Now, the magnetic moment of this magnet is equal to, let us consider, let magnetic moment of the magnet, it is equal to m. Magnetic moment of this magnet, it is equal to m. Now, you are well familiar that magnetic moment, it is a, what it is, a vector, isn't it? It is a vector. Then, if it is a vector means, then that vector, it is resolved into two components, isn't it? Then, what are those two components? Then, this m is resolved into two components. Then what are those two components? Those two components are, one is, what it is, the components, they are, one is m cos theta and what it is, the m sin theta, isn't it? Now, here, this point is what it is the most essential to understand. Now, what is that means? Let us consider, isn't it? You are having a magnet, this of magnetic moment, how much? Magnetic moment m, isn't it? Now, this magnetic moment, it is resolved into two components. What are those two components? One is m cos theta, another is what it is, a m sin theta. Then how they are? Then these two components are what it is, a perpendicular to each other, isn't it? These two, and this is along x-axis and this is along y-axis. Are you following? Then, if these two are perpendicular to each other, then these two are the rectangular components of the magnetic moment, what it is, the m, isn't it? Now, with this we can understand that, what we can understand means, the magnet, one magnet of magnetic moment m, isn't it? It is what it is, the resolved, that means split into two. What those two? One is the m cos theta, another is what it is, the m sin theta. Means the magnet of magnetic moment m, this can be split into two magnets, isn't it? This one magnet can be split into two magnets which are having the magnetic, one is having the magnetic moment m cos theta, another is having what it is, the m sin theta. Then how these two components are? Now these two components are perpendicular to each other. Hence, the magnet, that is one magnet which is having the magnetic moment m, it is, or it can be split into two, what it is, the magnets. It can be split into what it is, the two magnets. One is what it is, the n1, s1, and its magnetic moment is m cos theta, and another is what it is, the another magnet n2, s2, and its magnetic moment is what it is, the m sin theta, isn't it? Then how these two components are perpendicular to each other, that is m cos theta and m sin theta, these two are perpendicular to each other, means then these two magnets are also be perpendicular to each other, isn't it? Once again, all of you seriously listen here. This point I want to make it clear once again. One magnet, isn't it, which is having the magnetic moment m, it can be resolved into two components of m cos theta, m sin theta, which are perpendicular to each other. Means this one magnet of magnetic moment m, that magnet can be split into two magnets, isn't it? Two magnets. one magnet is having that is N1 S1 of magnetic moment M1. Another is what it is the magnet N2 S2 of magnetic moment, is it M sin theta, isn't it? Why they are perpendicular to each other means, then whatever these two components are there, M cos theta and M sin theta, these two are perpendicular. Hence, the magnets which are having the magnetic moment M cos theta and M sin theta, these two are also be perpendicular to each other, isn't it? Now, after understanding this one, now the remaining will become what it is easy for you, isn't it? Let us see that derivation. Now here, this point P, for this magnet N1 S1, it is like on its axial line, isn't it? This is the magnet N1 S1, the line passing through the center and the two poles is the axial line, means this point P, is it for the magnet N1 S1 is on its axial line, is it? And therefore here the point P, is it? The point P for the magnet magnet N1 S1, that is for this magnet, then this point is on its axial line, isn't it? Now, the field on the axial line formula is what? Therefore, field at P, is it? Due to N1 S1 is dA, that is field along the axial line. The formula is what? Already I had written to you. This mu naught divided by 4 pi, is it? 2m divided by d cube. Then 2 into, what is that m? Is it? M is nothing but the magnetic moment, is it? Now, for N1 S1, for this magnetic moment value equal to how much? It is equal to m cos theta. Therefore, we can write it here as m cos theta divided by d cube, the distance of the point from the center. Now, this, what it is, the point P is at a distance of d from the, what it is, the center. Therefore, this I will write it here as d cube. Now, here let us represent this equation number as 1. Next, now the same point, is it? The same point for the second magnet N2 S2, it is like on its equatorial line, is it? All of you carefully you observe this figure, is it? For this second magnet N2 S2, now this is what it is, the equatorial line. Equatorial line means what? The line passing through the center perpendicular to the axial line is known as the equatorial line, isn't it? Therefore, for the magnet N2 S2, the point P is like on its equatorial line, isn't it? Therefore, for magnet N2 S2, for this magnet, the point P is on its equatorial line, Therefore, the field at P is, then here field on the equatorial line, how it is? Field along the equatorial line formula is mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d cube, is it? M is what? Magnetic moment. Here for the magnet N2 S2, the magnetic moment is how much it is? M sin theta. Therefore, here I will take m sin theta divided by d cube, isn't it? Now, therefore, this much is the field at this point due to the first magnet, isn't it? N1 S1, and this much is the magnetic field due to the, at the same point, due to the second magnet N2 S2. Now, since these two magnets are perpendicular to each other, hence the field due to this, what it is, the first magnet and second magnet, these two are also be perpendicular to each other. Now here, that is BA, isn't it, and BE are perpendicular. These two are perpendicular to each other. Now, therefore, the resultant, therefore, their resultant field B is equal to, isn't it? Then formula is what? It is equal to under root of, isn't it, BA square plus BE square. If they are perpendicular to each other, that is, it is as good as like this one. Then let us consider this is BA and this is what it is the BE. Then resultant of these two is given by like this one. Then when you take this one, this is a right angle triangle. Resultant of these two is, it is B. Now B square, it is equal to the square of this plus the square of this. That means it is as good as B square is equal to BA square plus BE square. Now B is equal to under root of this one, isn't it? Therefore, that way I have what it is the written it here. Now, what you do is you substitute the values of this BA and BE and simplify this one. Then you will get what is the resultant, what it is the field B, isn't it? Now here, I will arrange this one. Therefore, this B square, B is equal to a square root of BA square plus BE square. Now, you substitute these two values. This is equal to BA. It is equal to how much? BA, it is equal to, here you are having mu naught divided by 4 pi, then 2m cos theta divided by d cube plus, then this is the square of this one, isn't it? BA square plus BE square mu naught divided by 4 pi m cos theta divided by d cube whole square, it is d square. Now here you take out the common factor, these two, isn't it? Then which are the common factor? Mu naught divided by 4 pi m d cube. Now I can write this as, for your understanding, let us write one more what it is the step here. In these two, you are observing that this mu naught divided by 4 pi m d cube. This is the common that I will take out here. Mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d cube. This is the common. Then what you left here? When you take out this common, now you will left with what it is the this one, 2 cos theta square. Shall I write it? That is, I will write 4 cos square theta plus. Now in this one, mu naught by 4 pi m d cube, that when you take out common, you left with, sorry, I have written the mistake here. Then this is nothing but it is BE, is sin theta, it is sin theta. Now this is equal to sin square theta. This one. Now this is equal to, now when you take out of this square root, since this is a square of this one, when you take out of the square root, now you will get it here, mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d cube, isn't it? Then under root of this remaining, isn't it? What it is? It is 4 cos square theta plus sin square theta. This is it. Now this is equal to, we can write this as mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d cube under root of, now this 4 cos square theta, I will rearrange it here. This I can write it here as 3 cos square theta plus, then 4 cos square theta is it. Now I have written as a 3 cos square theta, means one more cos square theta we left here, plus sin square theta, this. Now this I will write in the bracket like this one. Now again this is equal to, here what you get it is, then this is what it is as it is, you write This is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m by dq under root of this one. Now 3 cos square theta also you write as it is 3 cos square theta plus, isn't it? Then cos square theta plus sin square theta, it is equal to how much it is? It is equal to 1. Then this is equal to this one. Now this is a resultant magnetic field at P, isn't it? Then due to a dipole, that is a bar magnet, what it is the NS. Now you are observing that this point is what it is, any point around the magnet, means that is neither on the axial line nor on the equatorial line. Now this is the general formula, isn't it? Now yeah, already I made it clear that by using this formula, you can find what is the field on the axial line and the equatorial line very easily. Then those two what will become as the special cases of this one, isn't it? Now let us see here, by using this formula, whether you get those formulas or not. Which formulas? The field along the axial line and the field along the equatorial line of a, what it is, the dipole. Now first, case 1. When is it a P? When this point P is on the axial line, is it a? P is on the axial line of magnet. Which one? NS. This magnet. That is, when this point will come here, this is its axial line. Now see, when this point will come here, then you are observing that this angle is theta, isn't it? The angle between this and this is what it is, a theta it is. Now, when this point will come here, theta gradually decreases, and when it becomes on the axial line, theta will be equal to what it is, 0, isn't it? On the axial line NS, then a theta is equal to 0 you get. When the point P is on the axial line of the magnet NS, then what it is, when this point will come here, theta will be equal to what it is, 0. Now substitute theta is equal to 0 in this general formula. Then let us see whether you get the formula of the field on the axial line or not. Then here B is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi as it is, m also, m by d cube. Then you observe here cos 0 is equal to how much it is, 1. 3 into 1 is 1. Then 3 plus 1, it is equal to what, 4. Then square root of 4, it is equal to 2, isn't it? Now let us write one more step here. Then under root of, then here it is, you will get 3. Because cos 0 is 1. 1 into 3 is what it is, the 3 plus 1. Now this is equal to, here I will write directly mu naught divided by 4 pi. Then this 3 plus 1 is 4. Under root of 4 is 2. Now that 2 I will write it here, 2m divided by d cube. Then this is the field along the axial line. This, isn't it? Now, yes, already I had mentioned you that before going to start this the derivation, the field along the axial line, it is equal to this one. Next, when the same point comes on the equatorial line, isn't it? Then you see here what you get it. The special case, I will write it here. Second case is when the point P, when the point P is on its equatorial line, equatorial line means now this is the magnet and this is the center, isn't it? Then the line passing through the center perpendicular to axial line is the equatorial line. When this point will come here, then what will happen is when it comes here, theta increases, and when it comes on the equatorial line, then theta will be equal to how much it is, the 90 degrees, isn't it? Now, when this point P is on its equatorial line, theta is equal to 90 degrees. Then Now what you do is substitute theta is equal to 90 degrees here, cos 90 is equal to 0, then 0 into something is what it is, a 0, then this 0, this complete factor will become as 0, 1 will left here and square root of 1 is 1, then you get it here, the field along the equatorial line, it is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi, this m divided by d cube, and this factor is 0 and 1 will left, then square root of 1 is 1, therefore this into 1. Now this is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d cube. This is the field along the equatorial line. Then yes, already I had mentioned you that the field along the equatorial line formula is this one. It means that by using this formula, you can calculate the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole. Either it may be along the axial line or it may be on the equatorial line. Anywhere around the dipole, you can calculate the magnetic field due to that dipole. Means this is the general formula. This will become as a general formula for the determination of the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole. That you can calculate what it is very easily. Already we have derived the formula of the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole. That means we have derived a general formula for the determination of the magnetic field at any point due to a dipole. Now by using that formula, you can calculate the field on the axial line as well in along the equatorial line, anywhere around the dipole. That you can calculate. In the same manner, in the last class, we have derived the formula of the magnetic potential on the axial line and the equatorial line of a dipole. Isn't it? Now here, the field at a point on the axial line is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by d square. This is the formula of the magnetic potential at any point on the axial line of a dipole. Then whereas the potential along at any point on the equatorial line is equal to 0. Now why it is 0? That also I made it clear in the last class. Again, I don't want to go for that discussion. Now this is the field, potential on the at any point on the axial line, and the potential at any point on the equatorial line is 0. Then this already we have derived it. Now let us derive a general formula. For what? For the determination of the magnetic potential at any point around the dipole. It may be on the axial line or it may be on the equatorial line. You derive the general formula for the magnetic potential. By using that one, you can calculate the potential either it is on the axial line or the equatorial line very easily, isn't it? Now this is the formula, isn't it, for the magnetic potential. Now let us see here what is that general formula for the derivation of what it is this one. Then the first thing is, now let us consider this is what it is, a bar magnet which acts like a dipole of magnetic moment, what it is, the m. That is, m is magnetic moment of a dipole, n, what it is the s. And what is this p? P is the point which is at a distance of d from the center of the magnet. P is the point, is it, which is at a distance of d from the what it is, the center of the magnet. Then here this what it is, the potential due to the north pole, is it? Potential due to the north pole, potential due to north pole is equal to the general formula of the potential at a point due to a what it is, the magnetic pole. That formula is that potential V is equal to 1 divided by 4 pi. This is, and what it is the this m, small m, divided by what it is the this d, a d, right? Or I will write here r. Now what is this r? R is nothing but it is the distance of the point from the what it is the pole. Now let us draw that figure once again so that you can understand very easily. Suppose if you are having a magnetic pole of pole strength m, and this is the point P, which is at a distance of r, you take it, or d, you take it, whatever it may be, then the potential at this point due to this, what it is the a magnetic pole of pole strength m, it is mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by r. Then m is nothing but it is the pole strength, and r is what? It is the distance of the point from the what it is the magnetic pole, isn't it? Now let us apply this formula in this case. Now here m is the magnetic moment, isn't it, of this one, and I will write m, small m, is the pole strength, isn't it? Pole strength of what it is the each pole, that is the north pole and south pole. As you know that both the poles are having what it is the same, what is the pole strength, isn't it? M. Now here potential, let us write clearly at P due to north pole, it is equal to, the general formula is what? It is mu naught divided by 4 pi, mu naught divided by 4 pi, m divided by, now this distance, it is equal to what it is, I will write it here as NP, this one. Sorry for next, here this same potential, let us represent this equation number as what it is the 1. Next, potential at P due to south pole Vs, then due to north pole you take it as Vn, and due to the south pole Vs, it is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by, now this distance, it is equal to, you can write this as what it is the SP, this is distance of the point from the south pole, this is equal to what it is the SP. Now this potential due to the south pole, it is taken as the negative, because as already you have studied in the previous what is the lectures, that north pole is taken as positive, south pole is taken as negative, hence potential due to the north pole is positive, potential due to the south pole is negative. Therefore this much is the potential due to the north pole and this much is the potential due to the south pole. Then the net potential, it is equal to net potential at P, net potential at P is V is equal to Vn plus Vs. Sum of these two, because the potential, it is a scalar quantity, it is not a vector, isn't it? Therefore, then the total is equal to, you have to what is the add this sum. Now this is equal to, then write down the values of this one. Potential due to the north pole, it is mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by Np. Then whereas potential due to the south pole is minus mu naught divided by 4 pi m divided by Sp. Now this is equal to, now what you do is common factors you take out here, then you get mu naught divided by 4 pi m is a constant. Now 1 divided by Np minus 1 divided by Sp. This is what you get. Now this is the net potential V. Now you find the values of this Np and what it is the Ns. Then here looking to this what it is the figure. Now this NP, isn't it? Now this NP, it is equal to, what you can write it here? This NP, it is equal to, then here, this is equal to PA. This is equal to what it is, a PA. Then because it, for a short magnet, you can see that this value and this value, they are almost, it is what it is, the same. Then it is a NP. It is approximately equal to what it is, a PA. PA. Now this PA can be written as what it is, this PA, it is equal to a D minus of what it is, this one. This is, when you consider as O, then PA, it is equal to what it is, the OP minus of what it is, the OA. Yes. Now this is equal to OP. It is equal to how much it is? OP is equal to what it is, D. Isn't it? Now D I will write minus. Then this value OA is equal to, what is the value of OA? Now see, looking to this triangle OAN. Isn't it? Now let us make it clear. From triangle OAN, cos theta, it is equal to, cos theta is equal to what it is? Adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, isn't it? Now this is the angle. Now this will become as the adjacent side and this is the hypotenuse. Therefore, cos theta is equal to OA divided by ON. OA divided by ON. You want the value of OA, you cross multiply here. OA, it is equal to ON cos theta. Now this is equal to ON, it is equal to what? This ON, usually the total magnetic length, this we take it as a 2L, isn't it? Distance between the two poles, magnetic length 2L, and this is the center, means then this value is L. This is L and this also be equal to what it is, the L. Therefore, this ON, it is equal to L cos what it is, the theta. Now this is equal to, you can see that OP value is D minus of OA is equal to how much it is? L cos theta. Now the next is, you want the value of SP. This SP, it is approximately equal to, isn't it? Now this is approximately equal to this one, isn't it? Now is equal to how much it is, the PB. P, what it is, the B. Now this PB, isn't it? This distance, it is equal to how much it is, approximately equal to, this is what it is, the PB. Now this PB can be written as how much, means this total distance is equal to OP plus OB. Now this is OP plus OB. This is equal to, again OP, it is equal to how much it is, the D, isn't it? Plus, next, if this is the angle theta, again this will be the adjacent side, isn't it? If you want what it is, the in any right angle triangle, adjacent value cos theta, you have to take it. Then cos theta is equal to adjacent side divided by hypotenuse, isn't it? Therefore, shall I directly from this one, this is equal to, you will get it here as L cos theta only. Yes, like this one, isn't it? Now here, therefore, this you got the values of the NP value as well as what it is, the SP value. Now these two values you substitute here and simplify, then you will get what is the net potential. Now let us, what it is, simplify this one after substituting these values in equation number, what it is, the 1. Now from equation 1, from 1, V is equal to, what you get it here, this is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi, isn't it? Mu naught divided by 4 pi m into 1 divided by NP value equal to how much? NP, it is equal to this, what it is, a PA, that is equal to D minus of L cos theta. This one minus of, then 1 divided by, what you get it here, this D plus L cos theta. This. Now you take the LCM. This is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi. And the product of these two is the LCM. Is it 8? Now I will write in a single step that it is as good as a plus b into a minus b, means a plus b into a minus b is equal to a square minus b square form, so that I can write here as d square minus of L square cos square theta. Next, now this factor will come here, d plus what it is, the L cos theta minus of, isn't it? When you apply the minus sign, then this you will get it here, d minus of L cos theta. Then this is what. Now this is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi d plus L cos theta. Now you send the negative sign inside the bracket, then minus d, minus of minus, it is the plus L cos theta divided by, you will get it here, d square minus L square cos square theta. This is what you get it here. Now these two factors will get cancelled. Now what you left here? You left with L cos theta plus L cos theta. This you can write it here as 2L cos theta. Therefore, here now I will erase this one. This is equal to, you will get it here, mu naught divided by 4 pi m into 2L cos theta divided by a d square minus of L square cos square theta. When you rearrange these terms, you will get mu naught divided by 4 pi. Now multiply this one, or 2L into m cos theta divided by d square minus L square cos square theta. Now this is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi. Yes, you know that the product of the pole strength and the magnetic moment, 2L into m gives what? It is equal to the magnetic moment. Now this you can write it here as m cos theta divided by d square minus L square cos square theta. This is the net potential at the point P due to a dipole. Now that point, it may be or anywhere around the dipole it is. Now, you see this, what by using this formula, what you can find the potential on the axial line or on the equatorial line. In both the cases, what is the value of this potential, that you can calculate what it is very easily. Now again, for a short magnet, then which is, or to which magnet we call it as a short magnet? When the length of the magnet, it is very, what it is, much less than the distance of the point from its center. That is, L is very much less than D. Then the above equation reduces to what? This V is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m cos theta divided by, now d square you take out of the bracket, then you will get 1 minus of L square cos square theta divided by d square. Now when this L is very much less than D, then this L square divided by d square, this value is approximately equal to what it is, a 0. Then 0 into something is what it is, a 0 it is. That is, here L square divided by d square is approximately equal to 0. Now this value reduces to what? Mu naught divided by 4 pi m cos theta divided by d square. This is the value of V. Now this is the magnetic potential at any point due to a, what it is, the dipole, or we also known as what it is, the short dipole. Now example for dipole is what? It is a magnet, isn't it? Then which is called as the short dipole means short magnet. To which we call it as a short magnet? The magnet whose length is very less or negligible as compared to distance of the point from its center. Now this is a general formula of the potential. Now you can see that when this is a general formula, and now when you apply for the point on the potential, if the point is on its axial line, then you will get the value of the potential on the axial line of a dipole, and when you take the point on the equatorial line, then you see you will get the formula of the potential on the equatorial line of a dipole. Now let us see here. Now those two will become as the special cases of this one. Then first, case 1, if P is on its axial line, isn't it? Again, the same type as we have discussed in case of the magnetic field on the axial line. Now, when the point P comes on the axial line, the theta value gradually decreases, and when this point becomes on the axial line, theta will be equal to 0. Then on the axial line, theta is equal to 0. Now, when you substitute theta value is equal to 0 here, then what you get? V on the axial line, it is equal to mu naught divided by 4 pi m, that is the magnetic moment here, right? Cos 0 is equal to 1, isn't it? Therefore, divided by what it is, the d square. Now, you verify that this is the formula of the magnetic potential on the axial line of a dipole, isn't it? Next, when the point comes on the equatorial line, isn't it? When P is on equatorial line. Now this is the equatorial line. When this point comes on the equatorial line, then theta gradually increases, and when it comes on the equatorial line, theta will be equal to 90 degrees. That is equatorial line, theta is equal to 90 degrees. Then here, when you substitute theta is equal to 90, then cos 90 is 0. 0 into something is what it is, the 0. Therefore, the potential on the equatorial line is what it is, 0. This is what we have proved in the previous lecture, isn't it? Potential on the equatorial line is this much, and the potential on the equatorial line is 0. Then I think still I remember that in the last lecture, isn't it? The equatorial line, it is also be what it is defined as how? It is the line, isn't it? Along which the potential is 0, isn't it? Or what it is, the equatorial line is the line of 0 potential. That means you take any point on the equatorial line, the potential will be equal to 0. Now, you see, these are the two important, the expressions for the field at any point due to a dipole and potential at any point due to a dipole. These are the general formulas of the field and potential due to a dipole. I hope all of you might have understood these two derivations. Thank you, one and all. And the next point we'll discuss in the next class. Now we'll stop here. खासी 50 के ऊपर क्या दिखता छोड़ो